What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Dash today. It is the 16th day of January, and here we are at about $90 with 6 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. We've moved up exactly where I thought that we would go. Remember the last video we made was about 2 days ago, and I did say we were expecting just a little bit of a push higher. This really could have been a point to find resistance. We really could have pulled back there. But a little push higher, find some resistance, and then we likely do pull back. I do expect, before we get too far, I do expect that this will just be a momentary pullback on a path that will take us higher than these highs and to new highs altogether. But first, we probably do pull back from this area. If I'm wrong, from a high to a low here, if I'm wrong, the worst case scenario would be that we probably go up to about this area, $127 to $110. And then likely from there, we would pull back to this area for support or lower. It's very uncommon on your first attempt to the golden ratio zone here, the 618 area. It's very uncommon to pierce through it. It's extremely uncommon to pierce through all of these levels without any kind of pullback at all, without any kind of divots or anything. You can make short work of it, but it's very uncommon to just make these straight moves up like this, especially on such a large scale. If we're on the 1 hour time frame or the 15-minute time frame, it's maybe a little bit different. It's not as respected. But this is a pretty big, from a high to a low. This took from November until December. That was a month long of price action. We've been in multiple months of price action at this point. It's not just something that you should move through all in one attempt. So again, statistically speaking, you're not likely to pass through this zone on the first attempt. If you do, it's incredibly rare to see anything that pushes past this, especially at this scale. It can happen, it's just very rare. So likely from this point, if you were to find resistance here, which is already an unlikely circumstance, we would likely pull back here or lower, okay? From here, if I'm right in assuming that this is the high, we likely pull back to either the 0.5 or the 382 or somewhere in between. Something between about $72 and $61 there. That's where I think we're going to go. We're at $90 now, and I believe that we'll see this price pull back to about $72 to $61. Okay, that's it. If that's all you want to hear, cool. You can leave, hit the like button on your way out. Thank you for being here. But if you want to hear the reasons why, other than just my beliefs, I'm going to go over that now. If you want to see the short-term stuff. The 1 hour time frame here, looking at this, we're getting a lot of volume. It's not like incredible volume, but I mean it's pretty damn incredible actually. It's not higher than this is what I mean. We kind of are dying off altogether, which isn't necessarily a positive sign, but that's still a good bit of volume. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is the fact that you're not moving as fast. You're getting more volume than you have in a second. You're building volume here, and it's not really doing much for you. Which is fine, but that just might mean that you pull back. Look at how much volume you had relative to the volume that you had back here. Look at how much further you moved up before you even had this large spike here. You had larger spikes here. I'm going to delete this white box so it's easier to see. You had larger spikes here than any of these spikes before that very last candle there, and yet you didn't move much. I think there's distribution going on. I think we're selling off, or there's people selling off, and that's why you're seeing this kind of move sideways, right? It's moving sideways. We'll probably shift down, move sideways some more, and then you'll see a sudden shift. You'll get this rounding off of tops, and then it'll be a sudden stab down. So my expectation here is that we probably do not find support at these lows, and that's at $75. We go back to the daily time frame. We look at the high to the low here. The golden ratio, let me make this a different colored line. Or maybe what I can do is make it dotted. Can I do that? Hold on. Price, maybe? Yeah, let's do that. So it's a little bit different, easier to see, right? Golden ratio zone there. We likely don't hold support here at these lows, because from the golden ratio, it's very common to at least pull back to the 0.5, if not actually more common to go somewhere in this zone altogether, or to the 382. You can even go lower. It's possible. But again, it's less likely to find support in between the 0.5 and the golden ratio. It's less likely to find support below the 382. It's most likely to find support somewhere in this zone right here. And that's below this line. Okay, so we're doing our detective work. We're looking at this and saying, okay, the 0.5 is just below these price action, this price action area. If we are not going to hold support here, where's the next area that we can see visibly with our eyes that makes sense for us to go to? And it would be these points of resistance, right? You've got support right down here, right above this point of resistance there, right around $70. We look at the fibs, and from there, that's right in our 0.5382 area. I mean, all these points of resistance literally to this closing point, it's like right there, exactly where you'd expect to go. So something between probably just below $70, but above $61. I would even go as far as saying probably above like $62. That's what we're going to pull back to. You're at $90 now. If I'm wrong, you might get a nice pump from here. You might pump 20%, you might pump 40%, but you will pull back to this area. If I'm right, you're going to drop at least 20% from here. Likely, you're probably going to drop about 26% or more. Okay. Not a lot of volume. I mean, sorry, not a lot of price action for the volume that you're getting. Not a lot of movement from this volume. 1 hour time frame, the RSI went from an uptrend, higher lows, to lower lows, lower highs, right? That's what we've shifted into. You're going from getting overbought and deep into the overbought zone to getting less significant readings. And typically that does roll over. That doesn't mean that you're moving down right here. The price hasn't moved down this whole time. Typically these are your most bullish moments, even if you are staving your high readings in the overbought zone. But you're moving slower. You're rounding off. Stochastics look bearish. The MACD is bullish overall. But I will say this, crossing like this, you didn't really get that much. There's some severe divergence there, you guys, or bearish divergence there. So that doesn't bode well for the impending descent here. We might cross below the zero, and that can definitely send the prices lower, and I think we will. 4 hour time frame, looking at this, you do have bearish divergence all the way through. You've rejected your overbought zone here, and you're coming down. The stochastics look like they want to come down. The MACD is bearish divergence as well. You're about to cross down here. Volume's dying off as you're moving higher. To me, and again, you're getting an increase in volume but not getting serious results. To me, it seems as though we're about to pull back. Take a high to a low here. I just want to see. You're at the 2272. Typically, you wick above this level, but since we've hit it, we've stopped below it. I think that's more bearish. We'll probably pull back to the 1272 or lower. And that's at $75. That's just below this price area, so you're probably going to choose the or lower option. That's $70 to $63, which is the exact same range. No matter what fib we're cutting it on, this is the stuff that makes sense, at least based on my experience doing this stuff. It's very common to go from the 2272 to the 1272 and hold support. So that could happen, but if we break below there, this is the target area between the golden ratio and the 100 level. Daily time frame, let's see. Stochastics are overbought, which is nice. The RSI is overbought. You do your best work when you're overbought, but you're pretty high. You're pretty overbought. It's okay to pull back. It's okay to cool down. And then, of course, if we take this low to this high here and assume this is the high, pulling back to the 382 is pretty common. Sometimes in bullish situations, you pull back to the 236. The 236, which again, I don't think that we find support at, that's still at the base of this area here where we found support before. That kind of makes sense too. But I think the most sense would be made out of this 382 area. In very bullish situations, you expect a bounce right off the 382, but you can wick below it. So $66.76 is a more specific area. It's a little bit more refined than $70 to $62. I would go as far as saying, let's say $67 to $65 at the end of the day. $67 to $65, that's the price prediction. That's where I think we're going to go from here. We're probably going to see this happen over the next week or so, and maybe, just maybe, by the end of the month we get a little end of the month rally, but I wouldn't be surprised if we even started off February pulling back. We're not just going to find support here and then go off to the races. Maybe that can happen, but likely we work our way back, and then as we get to these higher points, that'll be when we break out sometime later in February, maybe even the beginning of February. But it's going to be weeks before, probably weeks before we see prices above this high here at $96.81. I don't have anything else to say. I've said a lot. And I feel like I just didn't even take time to breathe. But you look really good here. I don't think this is the end of it, but you are going to pull back. You probably do pull back, and again, something right around what was it, $67 to $65, something like that. That's where you're going to go. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. A more broad range would be about $70 to $62, but something closer to 65 to 67, I think. Take care. Bye-bye. See you later.